All right, this training is called Productivity in on Steroids with these virtual assistant hacks. Cool. Amber says her crew should come on shortly. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but it looks like we got it rocking and rolling. My name is Frank Salas. I go by the name The Talented Mr. Salas, and I'm going to be leading today's instruction on how to outsource lots of cool stuff with virtual assistants. Ayani, next slide, please. We have my lovely assistant from the Philippines, Miss Ayani. Ayani, can you say hi to everybody real quick? She's got to unmute herself real quick. As she's getting herself unmuted, I got to give you a quick history. I started outsourcing in 2008. And in 2008, I started my very first business. I outsourced to every country in the entire world. So I outsourced to, Bangladesh. I outsourced to Thailand. I outsourced to Japan, Korea, all the countries, Guatemala, Nigeria, every English-speaking country in the world I outsourced to. And all right, I got to unmute Yanni for her to say hi. Okay. So every country I tried to outsource to, I had hit and miss results. I'll have Yanni say hi a little bit later. And I decided to choose the Philippines because number one US American dollar is 50 Filipino pesos over there. One US American dollar is 50 Filipino pesos in the Philippines. Next slide, please. So I outsource everything, and even this PowerPoint. I'm not controlling this PowerPoint right now. My virtual assistant is controlling it, and I'm just going to be focused on educating you guys because my value to my organization is not maneuvering a PowerPoint. My value to my organization is giving you guys a lot of knowledge and helping you guys out to outsource your business. So a lot of us are, self-employed or solopreneurs, and we're very proud. Being an entrepreneur and being a solopreneur is something that we identify with, and we have a lot of, very similar beliefs where we're hardworking, we're very passionate, we put our everything into our business, and sometimes it's a little difficult for us to let go of things. And by letting go doesn't mean that you're lazy. It just means you have to focus on, more difficult tasks that requires more thought, more attention, more focus. And I outsource everything. So I even outsource this PowerPoint. My value to my organization is not outsourcing or is not, providing this PowerPoint. It's outsourcing it completely. So Yanni, can we get the next slide, please? So you got to realize that you are a CEO. You should spend more time doing what CEOs do, and that's making decisions. As you guys know, your value is making high-level decisions and not handling your busy work. So what does that mean? That means if by the time that you wake up and by the time that you sleep, how much busy work have you done within the day? How many of you guys feel like you're going from task to task? You get an email that pops up, and let's say you even wake up early, and by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you finish all your emails. Well, guess what? Now you have more emails, and you got to roll with those as the day goes on. And those little obstacles or those notifications that pop up that distract your focus are taking you away from your long-term goals. And when you when you look up, by the end of the day, it's 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever time you choose to stop working on your business. And some of us, it's midnight. Some of us, it's a little bit later, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Some of us, it's the next day. At that time, you got to ask yourself, how much time did I spend doing busy work, clicking on links, just composing emails, writing presentations? This graphic to the right, I didn't even make that graphic. How many times have you spent making graphics? Are you a graphics designer? Is your value to your organization, making things pretty, or is it having, relationships with people, JVing with people, speaking at conferences, writing books, networking with people, and so on and so forth. So your value is not handling your busy work. I really want to stress to you guys that you are your CEO of your organization. Yanni, next slide, please. So I own 7 companies right now. I've got several. I got a speaking business, a consulting business, several in the real estate business. I just launched a fashion line out in Spain, and I don't check my emails. I don't set up my own appointments. I don't do my own research. I don't do my own graphics. I don't even make my own lead pages or websites. I don't even know how. I don't reach out to my podcast guests. I don't do my own keyword research. There's a million things that I don't do because for me and my businesses, my value is relating with people, building my relationships, selling, and promoting my business, as well as serving my tribe. That's what makes me money. That's what keeps my business fruitful, if you will. And that's what I've got to do every single day. I don't have to respond to emails. I don't have to reach out to my phone calls and coordinate meetings and whatnot. That's not my value to my organization. So you're speaking to somebody or listening to somebody right now that has been doing this since he was 20 years old. I'm 28 now, and I have outsourced since day one of my operations. I do not know what it's like to not have a virtual assistant in business. And because of that, I've been able to own 14 companies in my lifetime. So this is going to come from a lot of experience in this next training. I hope you have some notes. I hope you guys took some notes down because there is no replay from this. This is an exclusive training that I'm dropping only to, a select few people in my inner circle. So let's go ahead and jump on to the next slide, Miss Yanni. You got to focus on your RGA. Your RGA is your revenue generating activities, and revenue generating activities is just what it sounds like, whatever it is that makes you money. So for me, I truly only get paid. Bank only goes into my bank account when I negotiate contracts, when I speak, or when I close a deal for my business. If I'm not doing any one of those things, that doesn't fall in my RGA. And that means I should not spend a single second of my day doing that. And I should spend more of my time focused on my RGA, my revenue generating activities. My magic formula is spending more time on things that make me money. And one of the sayings that I live by, one of the mantras that I live by is, if it doesn't pay me or serve my tribe, I don't do it. So focus your time on the activities that make you money and that will make you more money. Next slide, please, Miss Yanni. Time is your most valuable asset. You can never get more time, and every day is crucial to your business. You can leverage time, and you can also leverage other people's time as well. So just realize the fact that we all get the same amount of time. We just got to spend it a lot. We all spend it differently. So let's go to the next slide, Miss Yanni. And you got to master the art of delegation, and you have to reverse society's programming on your mind. And what that means is we all probably were brought up by very hardworking people, very proud people, or very humble people. Whichever the case, everybody has a certain work ethic or work style, work value. And society has told us you shouldn't ask people to do something if you haven't done it yourself. And now I've scrubbed toilets at my brick and mortar businesses before. I've taken out the trash. I've worked on the construction for my shops. I've done every single job in every one of my businesses. And up until I started, going online and really focusing on the more technical stuff. And when I first started delegating stuff, I just had this uneasy feeling that I was lazy, even though I know I'm not lazy, I just had this uneasy feeling that I was lazy. And because I was outsourcing this work, it wasn't going to be as good. I would have to check it. And if it wasn't perfect, that my life would be ruined, my business would be ruined, my proposal wouldn't get accepted and whatnot. I just had a bunch of self-limiting beliefs around outsourcing and delegating in general. And what I ended up doing is I made a list of things that were absolutely crucial and critical that I did myself. So for me, it was absolutely crucial for me to pick up somebody from an airport as they were relocating to Austin, Texas, to sell them a home with RE/MAX. It was absolutely critical for me to spray tan Miss Texas whenever she came to the Dallas area. It was absolutely crucial for me to go to the networking events in the Dallas-Fort Worth area when I started my first business. It's absolutely crucial for me to go to the networking events here in the entrepreneur startup hubs in Austin, Texas. That's something I can't replace. And so I wrote a list of all the things that I have to do personally. But all the other stuff that's not on that list, I made another list, and that list is a job description for your virtual assistant. And I just want to remind you guys that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. So Yanni, can we get the next slide, please? All right. Now we're going to talk about getting started. There's 3 parts to getting started. The first part is hiring your virtual assistant. I don't have the time to go in depth on hiring your virtual assistant. That's a separate lesson in itself, but that's where you get started. Then after that, you've got to train your virtual assistant. That's another, thing to tackle there. And then you have to learn to work with your virtual assistant. And that's something that I learned to do with every single day. Every single day I get better and better at that kind of stuff. So this is a process, and I just wanted to kind of bring you into my world a little bit. The next slide, please, Miss Yanni. So very briefly, to hire your virtual assistant, you can do it online. And where I get most of my virtual assistants, and I would like to stress on the word most, not the best. The most is from Craigslist. Everybody uses Craigslist over there, and you can go to any country that you like to outsource to. So you can go to, Croatia, Poland, the Czech Republic, India, Bangladesh, the Philippines, Malaysia, Korea, wherever you want to outsource to. You can just go to Craigslist and go to that country, go to whatever major cities are there, and then post some ads up and see what comes back. You can also go to Upwork. Upwork is a place for you to get freelancers. It's a little bit more official, and you have references, you have hours worked, you pay Upwork directly. Upwork takes a fee. The VA pays that fee. Actually, you pay that fee, but it comes out of the VA's fee, the VA's hourly wage. And then you can go to a website like onlinejobs.ph, and that's an online job board in the Philippines made specifically for the Philippines. But if you want the best results, I definitely recommend that you work with the pro. I happen to be a professional, and you can find more information about me later on towards the end of this presentation. Next slide, Miss Yanni. And you have to train your virtual assistant, and you've got to set expectations. Like when Yanni and I first started working together, I had to let her know, hey, I work on U.S. American hours. Is that something that you can do? She comes from a background of one of the top outsourcing companies in the Philippines. She's used to working the graveyard shift, just like most VAs that work from home are. And, she speaks English. She can communicate with my clients. Let's see if I can unmute her real quick. Let's see if I can do that right now. Maybe I'm going to have Yanni. There you go, Yanni. Can you introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, everyone. My name is Yanni from the Philippines.
Cool. There we go. So I got her back on mute. And, I just had to let her know you're going to be working on social media. A lot of it is new. I'm going to have to train you on most of it, et cetera, et cetera. Are you a good learner? And so on and so forth. And we have developed a working relationship. Now, the best way to do that is to provide step-by-step instructions, or SOP, standard operating procedures. If we have time towards the end of the call, I'm going to show you some examples of standard operating procedures and what they look like, how to best structure them, etc. But that's a separate training in itself. You've got to also spend time with your virtual assistant to get them to understand what your business needs are. Let's go to the next slide, please, Ms. Yan. And there's a few ways to work with your virtual assistant. Number one, track their time. Upwork has its own screenshot monitor, but there's other ones like a Time Doctor or Screenshot Monitor that you guys can agree on and say, hey, for this wage, et cetera, we're going to work together, and I just need screenshots. And they can turn in your screenshots to them. You have to define the end result with your virtual assistant. So with your virtual assistant, you just say, hey, I need a slideshow made, and it needs some cool graphics, and it needs to say this in this order. The end result should be that we have a professional presentation to showcase in front of a bunch of cool people. And you just got to realize that this is a process. This is a process right here. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide, Ms. Yanni. Share your accounts, but never share your passwords. So there's a very powerful tool called LastPass, and is absolutely necessary to scale your business. Whenever you share your accounts, you do not share your passwords with this tool. And what that means is if I need Yanni to access my Facebook, she has access to it, but she doesn't have my password. LastPass is a plugin that you can download to your browser, and it saves all of your passwords. And let's say I have a PayPal email. What I have to do is just share access through the LastPass application with Yanni, and she can now invoice people. She can now follow up on payments for suppliers, et cetera, et cetera. I can also give her access to my Twitter, my my full scope, my analytics, my website, and so on and so forth. So she can, allow me to be more free to do my RGA. So it's absolutely necessary to share your accounts, and it's absolutely necessary to kind of take a little bit more hands-off approach on something like this. And you got to change your mindset on, if that makes you uneasy, you got to change your mindset, because sharing your passwords is something that is absolutely crucial to make this change. You got to be open to new possibilities. And I will tell you from personal experience, once you let go, you can run faster. When you're not worried about, oh, I've got to invoice this new $10,000 client that I just landed, but now I've got to go in there, log in, write the invoice, confirm the email address, send something, put the note in, write something in the note, make sure it's right, click send, and then send a message, say, hey, I sent you the invoice. Here's a link if you need one, et cetera, et cetera. You can go faster. You can invoice that person and say, okay, cool, nice doing business with you. My people are going to reach out to you. And then you move on to your next call. And now you can work with another client, book more business. You just have more time to sell. You have more time to earn new business. That's all I'm doing today is showing you how to have more time to earn new business. So go ahead and go on to the next slide, Miss Yanni. When you're communicating with your virtual assistant, it's very crucial to have something that is mobile friendly, because a lot of us who are in this business are constantly at conferences. We're out and about, we're speaking, we're working with other people, and we're always on the go. So Skype has its own application, and most people in the Philippines utilize Skype. It's a very popular tool. It's a little heavy on the resources, and it's getting very popular, and there's some peak times, but it's popular for a reason. It's really good. I like Slack as well. Slack allows you to communicate if you have a bigger team and you're more professional. But if you're just getting started, Skype is going to do you just fine. But let's say you have 3 to 7 employees and you have an actual organization. I like Slack because you can break your business up into different departments, have different conversations, have hashtags that notify you. So for example, I have 7 companies. And so in one of my Slack conversations is my fashion line. And anytime something comes up about fashion, they use the hashtag fashion, and that hashtag automatically tags me, and it sends me a notification saying that, hey, Frank, we're talking about the fashion business. We need your input on this. And I can quickly go in there and, address whatever situation that is, and then move on with my life. And that's how I'm able to navigate all my different companies, by keeping organized with an organizational tool like Slack. Skype is good if you're just starting out. Slack is the pro's route. That's the pro tip for you. Next slide, please. So graphics, your virtual assistant can do your graphics. Again, these graphics that are up here, I didn't do these graphics at all. It's my value to my organization is not making graphics, and neither is yours. Even if your graphics may be pretty and maybe you enjoy it, I don't care. I'm talking dollars and cents right now. I'm talking your bottom line at the end of the year. I'm talking about the difference between you getting your kid 10 gifts and you getting your kid 100 gifts and taking them to Disney World or wherever he and she wants to go. That's what I'm talking about right now. And if you spend less time on graphics, or better, no time on graphics, and outsource your busy work to somebody else, that's going to be a reality, because you're going to spend more time focusing on your business and things that earn more money for your business, and set yourself up for a legacy, not just a good year, not just a good quarter. I would imagine that a lot of us on this call right now, and myself included, before I started really scaling my company, I would have success for a few months. And because I had success, I had to fulfill all the work from that. And it just kept me busy, being busy. And because I wasn't able to keep my pipeline full, once I fulfilled those contracts, or once that season was out and I had to look for more business, my pipeline was empty, because I had to focus my time addressing the new business. I didn't have systems around me. And I was doing stuff like making my own graphics for a little while. I was doing stuff like, doing my own research and whatnot. And that was all a part of the journey. And I'm just giving you guys advice, complimentary. These are diamonds, courtesy of your boy, the talented Mr. Salas. Just wanted to share with you some experiences that I had. Let's go ahead and go on to the next slide, Miss Iani. Here is some really cool stuff right here. Please write this down, especially if you're going to outsource with a virtual assistant. Give me 1 second, please. I'm going to get a drink of water. So BlueStacks is an emulator, and so is Andy. And what an emulator is it allows your virtual assistant to have your Instagram account on their computer. It allows you to have, LinkedIn, Facebook, ghost codes. For those of you guys who are on ghost codes and know what that is, if you don't know what ghost codes is, make sure you join me in the talent tribe. That's where I have lots of complimentary trainings on social media in early adopter phase. But for those of you guys in the talent tribe, you guys know all about ghost codes. And the reason I have so many hearts is because my virtual assistant is logged on there and they're hearting up all of the other people while I'm doing what I'm doing. My value to my business isn't hitting hearts on that application a million times to get social proof. My value is pumping out content just like this. So BlueStacks and Andy are two emulators. Make sure you download those and make sure you get them. They do cost money. I don't know how much they cost. If you're thinking about the cost, then you're not ready to make this shift. For someone who wants to have an outsourced solution, you have to pay to play. You have to take your resources, which is your money, and you have to invest in your organization. You now have an employee. A virtual assistant is not something that you pick and choose to have when and where. If you want to live this lifestyle and play in multiple businesses and have money coming in on autopilot like everyone says you want to do, you have to invest in tools like this. You have to invest in support to man these tools like this. You are a CEO. You are a highly functional business person, and we need you to act as such. On to the next slide, please, Miss Iani. Remote access. I absolutely love this, especially because I'm in the real estate business. And in the real estate business, I utilize a website called Craigslist to generate leads. And Craigslist doesn't like it unless I have an Austin, Texas IP address. I sell real estate down here in Austin, Texas. And Splashtop allows my virtual assistant in the Philippines to access one of my old laptops that I have hanging out in my in my office. And I bought that laptop for like $50 on Craigslist. I threw it up there, hooked it up to the Wi-Fi. I downloaded this application. Again, this costs money. I think it's less than $100. I don't know. Again, remember, you got to invest in tools like this if you want to make your business successful. Don't go for the freebie. Go for the stuff that's going to work. This is a paid version of Zoom. I'm recording this. This is going into Amber Aziz's vault, and this is going into my vault so it can serve our tribes. And you've got to invest in technology if you're going to be in business online. Now, Splashtop is something that you have many uses for, but the best use is to have them control your computer. And you can do that for trainings. You could do that for things that are location or that require your location. Let's say you want to make a bunch of, I don't know, something that would require your location. I don't know. Let's say you're still working from 9 to 5 and you want to fool your boss. And you want to say, yeah, I was at home. And then you can prove your IP address and all these posts were done from this whatever spot. But you were in Hawaii. But you were in New Zealand. But you were in Costa Rica. As long as you stay off Facebook and you don't post on Facebook, you won't get caught. Because you can now prove that your IP address was posting these things from this address. And that's a way for you to start designing your lifestyle. Now, I'm not saying go out and fool your job and try that. That's just an example. Just want to show you the power of the tool. You would definitely know what you could use Splashtop for. This is just what I use. And I know it's very crucial for me at all times. I may leave a file at my computer at home and my virtual assistant can access it very easily. So it's really cool for me to leverage my time, my energy, my resources. Next slide, please, Miss Yana. Lead pages. Lead pages can be done by virtual assistants. I don't do my lead pages whatsoever. And, I love Instapages. I love lead pages. Very easy to use, very easy to learn. They've got tutorials so your virtual assistant can go in, and learn how to do them. You don't have to teach your virtual assistant how to do it. And if you get a virtual assistant that's actually, very proactive, they'll teach themselves. I will tell you from experience that you have to really lead the training with your virtual assistant. You have to be the one that says, hey, how is your training going on this? Show me how to do this. Again, you are employing somebody. So you have to make sure that they're getting the training in just like anything else. Just like if they were in your office and you brought on somebody new, you wouldn't give them a task or a training and then just leave them be. You would come, you would follow up with them and say, do you have any questions? Can we talk about this? Show me how to do that. Just to make sure they're doing it toward the standards of your organization. So a lot of the stuff that I'm saying, you might be saying, oh, that's really easy. And it is, but you have to trust in the process. You have to put the time in to show your virtual assistant how to work on those particular things. Next slide, please, Miss Yanni. Your website. I got to say this about your website. You got to let control of your website. Your value is you not putting up your next blog post. Your value is not making sure your SEO is done right. Your value is not making sure that, you've got these meta tags or, this is here, here, and here. You're not a web developer. You're not a web developer. That's not how you make money. That's not your RGA. Your RGA is to get people to the website, to get attention to that website. And even if you sold websites, your job is to sell websites, not make them, not work on your own business. So you got to remove that stuff there. It's very time consuming. It's something that, doesn't pay you directly. It has to be done. Don't get me wrong. It has to be done, but it's not something that doesn't pay you directly. So having a web developer is like having a maid online. So you have a maid at your house because you don't want to do your dishes. You don't want to do your laundry. And the same thing with the web developer. You don't want to do your dishes and laundry online. And that's how I would recommend for most people to have somebody on their team that handles their websites. Next slide, please, Miss Yanni. Social media management. Hootsuite is amazing. For those of you guys who know what evergreen content, and those of you guys in the talent tribe who attend our trainings, you know that evergreen content is where you say something. It might be a quote. Like I have several quotes that I love and live by. And my virtual assistant has gone on Adobe Spark, made several graphics, and plays or posts that 50 times a week, 100 times a week. That's evergreen content. It's content that will never go out of style. It's my trademark. It's things that give value to the marketplace. And we post it on Twitter, different places, sporadically throughout the week, but enough. And we program that through Hootsuite. Also, we use analytics tools. Like my favorite analytics tool for Instagram is Iconosquare. It tells you who has followed you, who has unfollowed you. And the reason I like that is because if they've unfollowed you, you can go to their profile and then you can follow them, like a bunch of their photos and really get them to follow you back. Because they might have been there and said, oh, that guy Frank, he does really good posts. But then one day they were like, I'm following too many people. And because I was one of their more recent people, they just unfollowed me. And now because I saw that they unfollowed me, I can now go, or what I do, have my virtual assistant go and see, okay, this person unfollowed us. Let's go back to them. Let's heart 20 of their pics to let them know that we're here. And you know what? Not all the time, but like 30 or 40% of the time, that person follows me back. So that's a way for me to retain my followers that I previously lost. So there's a bunch of different ways for you to utilize your virtual assistant to outsource your busy work. So let's go ahead and go on to the next call, the next slide, Miss Yanni. Email management. So a lot of you guys may be starting out. MailChimp is a very, very viable option. But if you guys are professionals and if you guys have a following and you have people on your list, you got to use Aweber. You got to use Ontraport. Those are just very powerful tools that are going to allow you to grow and scale your business. And that's a way for you to really replace yourself. But your value to your business is not running your MailChimp. It's not running your Aweber. It's not your Ontraport. It's not even writing the emails for them. I mean, I do agree that you have to write a few personal emails, but to keep people in the loop of what's going on, if you had a copywriter on your team that wrote good emails, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Your need is that your tribe needs to be contacted with. That's your need. The result doesn't have to be you need to contact them. They just need to be contacted underneath by your organization. So, Apple, whoever runs Apple, I don't even know. I'm so far removed from all the little details of everybody else's life because I'm so focused on my business right now. Whoever runs Apple, the CEO or the owner or whatever, they don't write their emails to their peeps. Somebody else does that, So just think of that in mind and, focus on getting people on that list. But right now, if you don't have a list, MailChimp is good. Aweber's for professionals, Ontraport's for professionals. And even if you're just getting started, if this is day one, or if you haven't even started at all, Gmail is just fine. That's $1 million software by itself. It's just fine, I promise you. So let's go ahead and go up next to the next page, Miss Yanni. I just want to say thank you, guys, for allowing me to serve you. This is a picture of the Talent Tribe. And here's a perfect example. I told my virtual assistant to put a picture of the Talent Tribe. And right here on the left, as you can see, we still have picture of Talent Tribe. We did this training last minute for Miss Amber Aziza and her tribe. We're very honored, very blessed to be chosen by her to provide a lot of value to her Midnight Millionaires Club. And this is something that I drop complimentary to the Talent Tribe. And the Talent Tribe is where I provide complimentary trainings on stuff just like this. I focus on social media growth hacking. I talk about how to get book coverage, media coverage, TV coverage, how to promote your business in different ways. Mr. Matt Crane recently called me the beautiful mind of growth hacking. And what that means is if you have a business, I can market it very rapidly in any platform. So that's my presentation for you guys. I give exclusive interviews with awesome people like Amber Aziza, and you can get my freshest content in the Talent Tribe. And you can just go to Facebook and search for Talent Tribe and join our private Facebook group there. Yanni, can we get the next slide, please? If you guys have any questions, I encourage you to come visit me at talentedmrsalas.ph. I'm going to stop the recording. For those of you guys that are live, I'm going to unmute and open up the floor for any questions. I'll be here as long as you need me.